eligible as matching funds for donations during the month of August, basically. So it's like we raise a bunch of donations in July. Those donations are sitting there from July until the end of August, basically. And at the end of August, they're paid out as matching funds. So throughout the month of August, people can see how much funds were raised in July and how much matching funds are available. And they can get a good estimate on how much matching funds they'll get per donation. And then that gives a lot of time for the funds to sit there. And then I imagine that those funds, would basically 100% of them would get paid out at the end of August. And then the funds raised during the month of August for pools would then be earning interest and then would get paid out at the end of September, basically. So it's like constantly filling up and sitting there and then getting drained out. And I don't necessarily think that the interest has to be a blocker, because I do think it's really important. But I don't think it's a blocker, because we can prove out the quadratic funding stuff and the donations to causes and the matching funds and build all that and get that live. And then it really only becomes useful once there's a decent amount of like funds flowing through, basically. Like, it's got to make sense. It's got to cover the gas cost to get interest for like about a month and a half worth of time. And these are smart contract interactions and everything. So that makes me feel like we could get it live, and then while we're testing it out and proving it out and everything like that, build the interest generation functionality, and then add that to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Gitcoin definitely does the like pooling, and then kind of in a centralized way, just decides how much, because now they have like ridiculous sums of money in their matching pool.
Really? Okay.
From the funder. Yeah. So they
have a reservoir they're pulling from for each round. Okay.
Yeah, because they were like, oh crap, we have like $7 million here. We can't give that away this round. Which is a great problem to have. So, but yeah, I still think that it makes sense, like, to pay it all out in a round, especially if we don't have interest bearing yet. Then it makes sense just to pay it all out, like give people that. Okay, cool. Do you guys, I don't know, Mitch, Lauren, do you have a second to talk about? Do you guys have any thoughts on this? Mitch, you said you were just listening, but.
Yeah, I'm just listening. I don't know anything, so I should probably just start lurking and learning about this stuff.
I feel similar right now.
Lauren?
Project creation, I don't have anything to say.
I love all the dirt on Gitcoin too. I love the goss.
You wouldn't believe. I'm just getting to the half of it. The other thing is influencer influence is like really bad with the Gitcoin design. So there's with the current, I know they're going to solve so many problems in the next year. They're going to solve so many, and I'm hoping that we don't do this, right? Like in the end, like the people in this call probably are not in the quadrant. Like maybe we hang out there. Obviously, Willie, I hope you would be in that, but not like, it would be like, okay, Aaron, you're right. Like good idea. Like, let's do that. And okay, thank you, Gitcoin person. Like, thank you for your advice. We'll do that. Like a lot of that. So, but maybe the designs and the, product management, of course. Okay. So that's like the brain meld on the causes, and then project curation. Do you want to start with, because I started with the problems of causes, do you want to start with the problems of curation?
Sure. I am very much open to, just like you said, curation replacing project verification, and that is a more decentralized way of doing it. I think that's awesome. My concerns with like the project curation early on was that it's just that it just doesn't seem like the best user experience to me, basically. And it was just hard for me to wrap my head around, we have all these projects and we have all these donors and stuff. And I totally can see people donating to causes because that's easy. And we got some validation. Even when we were talking to Metagame recently, they were like, we'd rather donate just to causes than projects. And you want to donate. And that seems like it'd be better for us. And the donation matching, that makes a ton of sense to me. It's like everyone loves to have their donation matched. But like, who loves to go take their tokens and stuff and like look at all these different projects and vote on projects they want to like stake their tokens to? And how can we make that a great user experience that actually works in practice, right? Like you can see it working. Like when we map it all out, if people actually participate, then yeah, it will work great. But like, how can we actually get people to participate? And I think we've come up with some cool ideas. Like maybe we can make it so that it's either automatic or like recommended when you donate to a project that like your tokens are staked to them, and maybe they're staked while they're locked, they can still be staked or something. I don't know. I think we can maybe come up with ways to solve that. But those are just my concerns. Is like it only really works if it gets good participation, basically. And that is my concern. Is that I haven't really seen an example, and it's hard for me to imagine how we could like why a user would actually want to go stake their tokens to a project and stuff. And maybe those are wrong assumptions, but that's just my skepticism.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, and it would be the reason is because they don't have a choice. Exactly what you said. Like their givebacks go straight into that. They donate, and their givebacks are staked behind that project. If they want their givebacks, they have to pull them out, and that becomes like a automatic participation. Like anytime someone donates to something, then they're staking. I still think there's a lot of things to talk through, and there's a lot of problems. But I do think that there's also just horrible situations with project verification that we have to address as soon as we can. Number one, it's very centralized and like sort of against the ethos of everything we want to do. It could also I don't like fear as a decision. I don't accept it. So I don't even want to say this, but like there is some like legal things that happen with our centralized like what if someone wants to be like, why am I not a verified project? Who decided that? Oh, it was Ashley? I'm suing her. You know, like it's like what? Oh, you know, and so that's like, you know, I know it's stupid, but you know, I don't know. And I don't think that we should really consider that, but it is something that I have in the back of my head, right? Because we shouldn't make decisions based on fear. We should not make decisions based on fear. And if something like that happens, oh my God, we'd probably get so much press. We would get so much it would probably end up working out for us, right? The trusted seed would come in, we would fight that shit in court, and we would make a boo about like blockchain for good and like how they can fuck off, you know? So like it would probably end up working out. But
I just had a thought when you mentioned that. Yeah. What if you moved it to the DAO to like whitelist?
The argument
until the token economy launches, like if you want to really decentralize it, like put it to the stakeholders and then just have like a yes or no. Because like in Mir, for example, that's what they do with their governance tokens. You whitelist a synthetic asset or whatever, and then once it passes, it goes to the list. If it doesn't pass, well then the community has decided.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea and a great mitigation technique. So we and Balancer does the same, and I like their model a little bit better. Someone will propose a giant list, because doing it one by one, you know, but proposing a giant list of tokens that could be whitelist, but maybe a giant list of proposals that, you know, are projects that should be verified, and a list of projects that should not be verified every 2 weeks. You know, it just goes up every 2 weeks on a regular basis. People can like reject or accept. And yeah, I think that would be really, really cool to add into our flow, and it wouldn't cost that much effort, and it would definitely mitigate issues. Thank you, Mitch. The other piece that I want to add in there is like we would have to somehow introduce the tags into that, because that's something that the quadratic funding will really need, is like are we a LATAM group or not? You know, is the Common Simulator a LATAM group? There's people in Costa Rica, but they're super white. You know, like there's people in Brazil, and then they're really in Brazil. You know, I was in Ecuador. There's another guy who's really Ecuadorian in Ecuador. Like, is it a LATAM group? I don't know, right? I think so. Marco's on it. He's not. So like, these are not easy decisions, and people are going to be pissed no matter what. And in some ways, it's really nice to have like a lack of subjectivity of where it's just like, yeah, guess what? Anyone with a give token gets to decide this. You stake on a project and you're agreeing that their tags are correct, or you can like stake and like anti their tag, or we can figure out some kind of methodology to be like, give token holders decide about each project, you know, and what's right or wrong. We can have anti-staking, you know, and the biggest reason why people would stake is because they get paid, right? They're rewarded with more give tokens for staking, and we already have the staking pool.
And this would replace, like, you basically, the only way to stake and get interest without being in a pool, a two-sided pool, would be to put it to a project.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, all that makes me feel definitely a lot better about it.
I think that there would be a lot of people interested in a real applicable TCR model, and the biggest thing is like for project verification to scale. Like in the end, these projects that like want to be on there and get givebacks, now they're going to go have to buy give tokens and participate in the economy to get givebacks, or tell people with give tokens, I'm an awesome project, you know, like please stake on. Yeah.
It'd be cool too if we did like quadratic staking too, because there could be an issue where like, you already get it, where a project's getting a ton of donations, so they're getting a ton of matching funds, and now they're getting like all the matching funds basically, and it's just like a slippery slope. But if we balance that out
have you seen what Celeste does?
I've looked at Celeste. I'm staked in there with some honey, but I haven't actually voted on any disputes or anything.
They say that you can only stake with a bright ID, and then up to a certain amount. So we could cap each person's stake to a certain number of give tokens based on their uniqueness score or something. Like maybe there's like no uniqueness, then you can only stake. You only get this many give tokens, you know, counting towards it. You can stake all of them, but you only get this many give tokens counting towards it. You only get that many rewards counting towards it. You know, because maybe you donate, you get a fuck ton, right? Well, you're over your cap, you know. And we tell them you got to be identified. You got to be unique. You don't have to be identified as a human, but you have to prove that you're a unique human. And then we raise your score, you know, and we can start getting the identity folded in and mitigate this. Like there's going to be good engineering solutions for this. What's really cool is we don't actually need that much identity, like not nearly as much as quadratic funding.
Super cool. Sounds great to me, dude. Sounds like a great roadmap, and I'm glad we had this mind meld.
Oh yeah, and of course it's not decided. This is just like brainstorming, and we have lots of time. Unfortunately.
Well, looking forward to it, dude. I gotta run to stand up, but yeah, this sounds great for now, and looking forward to continuing to flesh this out.
Definitely.
Thanks for letting me learn.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Much love.
Yeah, of course.
See you soon.